If you want to explain to someone how a 660-ton steel pendulum keeps a massive skyscraper from collapsing during an earthquake, do not draw it like this. What you're looking at is technically accurate, but to your viewer's brain, this isn't information, it's just noise. In fact, 90% of technical sketches fail to explain the actual science because the creator confuses accuracy with clarity. Today, we are going to erase the noise. I'm going to show you the 3 fundamental mistakes that ruin technical drawings and the exact 3-step blueprint you can use to make anyone instantly understand how the physical world works. The first major mistake is information overload, also known as the kitchen sink error. When beginners try to explain a scientific concept, they try to draw everything at once. If they are explaining a bridge, they draw the cars, the water, the bolts, and the texture of the concrete. But human working memory can only process a few visual details at a time. When you emphasize everything, you emphasize nothing. The fix is isolation. You must strip away 90% of the object and isolate only the exact mechanism doing the work. For example, to explain how Taipei 101 survives a typhoon, we don't draw the windows or the elevators. We draw only the outer structural skeleton and a single sphere suspended near the top. Suddenly, the viewer knows exactly where to look. The second mistake is drawing static geometry instead of dynamic physics. Science doesn't happen in the object itself. It happens in the forces acting upon the object. If your sketch only shows what the structure looks like, the science remains completely invisible. To fix this, you need a strict arrow hierarchy and a dedicated color code. In my sketches, I always use 3 rules: black for the solid structure, blue for external elements like wind or water, and red for internal stress and kinetic energy. Watch what happens when we introduce the physics. When a violent typhoon wind, shown here in blue, pushes the building to the right, inertia kicks in. The massive steel ball stays behind, pulling the top of the tower back to the left with a massive red counterforce. By animating the vectors of force rather than just the steel beams, the viewer instantly sees the gravity and the movement. The third mistake is a lack of scale. A clean diagram of a microscopic cell and a diagram of a massive planet look identical on a blank whiteboard if there is no reference point. Without context, the brain can't relate to the science. The fix is the zoom-in transition. You must always anchor your technical sketch to something the human eye already understands. Before diving into the microscopic physics of structural tension, draw a recognizable human scale. Show a person standing next to the mechanism. This instantly resets the viewer's brain, giving them context for the massive forces at play before you break down the math. So, the next time you open up your whiteboard software to explain a complex idea, remember the 3-step layering blueprint. First, draw the monochromatic skeleton. Keep it gray or black and strip away all unnecessary details. Second, layer on your active color-coded vectors of force so the physics becomes visible. Third, use a high-contrast highlight to draw the eye exactly to the point where the problem is solved. Stop trying to prove how much you know by making your drawings complicated. The true sign of engineering mastery isn't making a simple thing look complex. It's making a complex thing look beautifully simple. If you want to see exactly how I built these assets and prep them for this animation, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.